All
Hello.
right. Hello, everybody. Bailey Lamont here. We've got Rico Brower as well. And today we are talking to Petrus Pennanen, who is the leader of the Finnish Pirate Party. And he's also a candidate for the European elections. Hi, Petrus. How's it going?
Hello, Bailey. Nice to meet you. It's going pretty well. We have spring here properly, so it's very sunny here in Helsinki at the moment.
Excellent.
That's good. It's getting to be spring here too. It's up and down, but almost there. So we know you now, but maybe not everyone does. So why don't we start this little interview by you introducing yourself, telling us a little bit about you?
Right. So my education is I have a PhD in theoretical nuclear physics, and then I was a software entrepreneur for like more than 15 years, and I sold my company to my biggest customer end of last year, and then I'm still working in the software with this company that acquired my company, and then I've been active in politics as a hobby. So it's now my sixth election, and I'm currently chair of the Pirate Party in Finland, and I'm a member of the Helsinki City Council. Yeah.
That's awesome. So Finland, things have been pretty exciting over there lately. You guys just had an election over there. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how that went?
Okay, well, that was a major election. Yeah, I mean, we had the parliamentary elections, and we really made an effort there. And I personally got a lot of votes. And in Helsinki, which is the district where I was running, we increased our share of votes very well. But we had a coalition of four small parties: so Pirate Party, Feminist Party, Liberal Party, Animal Rights Party. And unfortunately, three other parties in the coalition, they basically all lost votes. So I didn't get through, even though with my share of votes, which was like 1.2% of all of the votes in Helsinki, went to me personally, I would have gotten through in most other parties. But yeah, so it didn't work out for us in terms of the coalition, but otherwise it was a good result.
Okay, well, let me just say one thing. You guys ran an incredible campaign. So you should be very proud of that.
Why do you think it's incredible?
Just watching from afar, I just think it was very well put together. All I could really do was just kind of follow the social media, talk to people here and there, but just from what I saw, it was very put together. You're really on top of stuff, and yeah, I think you did a great job, and I think a lot
Did
of
you see my campaign video?
I think I did.
With the animation, it's like a computer game and opening door.
Oh, okay, yeah, that one.
You saw that?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe you can link to it when you post this, because it's like a groundbreaking political campaign video. And I get so many, I get like 350,000 views online in Helsinki. There's like 600,000 people total. And then I got it showing on the tram stops. And I got people coming to me with their kids, and they're like, "Oh, our kids were looking at your video 10 times. They didn't want to stop watching it because they like it." So if the kids like it, then it has to be good. So if you can link to this video, it would be cool.
Okay, cool. Yeah, let's do that. All right. So you just came out of elections in Finland, parliamentary elections, and now it's time for EU elections, very quick. What are some of the causes that are close to your heart? Whether it's some of the causes that you think need to be pushed in Finland or at the EU level?
Yeah, the same causes for like a long time now. So my first election was 2012 municipal elections. Then I was like campaigning for love. And then I changed it in the next election. There was Euro election 2014, 2015. I had freedom, reason, and love. So then I've been for freedom, reason, and love. And I could add like freedom, reason, and love, and then I think maybe I add money. So far not. So anyway, money is also important. So I mean, this means that freedom. I understand it means individual freedom, economic freedom. So you can be an entrepreneur without too much red tape. And then reason means science-based politics, looking for solutions without focusing on the ideology. So looking for solutions that basically work and are simple and like practical solutions. So that's the reason part. So I'm not going with the, hey, this is the ideology, what it says, but like, oh, this actually works, let's use it. And then love, which means basically people being together, communality, promoting communality, for example, by releasing underused space in the cities. So there's a school which is all shut all weekend, so people could book it for their events, you know, create culture together, hang out together, or even just like meet and talk with each other. And then the love also means equal opportunities for the most disadvantaged people. So if they're disabled, they're immigrants, they're unemployed, they're poor, you know, they have mental health issues, you know, all of these minorities who are disadvantaged. So I want to promote equal, not just like they're legally on the same level, but they have equal opportunities actually to like participate in society, so to study, work, and so on.
Excellent. I feel like these, you know, the cool thing about pirates, in my opinion, is that it's not exactly, you know, one ideology. I mean, we have our core values that we all kind of agree on, such as a lot of the things that you just listed. But at the end of the day, I feel like we all kind of come from very, in some cases, different and very unique places on the political compass. But all the things that you just listed, you said freedom, reason, and love,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, I feel like pirates all kind of have these things in common, which is really cool. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the political landscape in Finland right now? Do you think things like freedom and reason and love are being taken seriously in Finnish politics, or is that something that not so much?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think in general we have a pretty well working democracy. So like we are high on the freedom of speech indices always, and you know, there's people who are in the politics. They are not super partisan, so they're open to talking to people outside their party. And we have a lot of parties. So I don't know, officially, I think, is it like 8 parties in the parliament and 12 altogether or something like that? But basically around 10 parties. And we have now, they're forming a relatively left-wing government with the Social Democratic Party leading. And yeah, well, I mean, that doesn't sound super good to me, because this Social Democratic Party is a lot for like red tape and increasing bureaucracy, making things more complex instead of making them simple and well working. And they're heavily promoting interests of labor unions or a major force here, instead of like trying to keep it totally balanced and taking care of everybody. So, but it's going to be probably good for the disadvantaged people to some extent. So they try to promote like better opportunities for them, but then it's often very bureaucratic. You have to make applications all the time. You know, if like unemployed, you get the unemployment benefit. You just register a company, you don't get any money, you lose all the benefits and stuff like that. So I'm not super optimistic about this current government. So yeah, it's the whole parties in the parliament. They basically have their own paradigm where they are. So they're kind of conservative. They listen to each other. Like they're very careful of what they can say, and it's fun for me to be in the same debate. Like I was in a debate about drug policy. It was just me and then all the parliamentary parties, and then like, okay, of course we should legalize cannabis fully. I mean, that's common sense. It's Canada, USA, so on. And then these others, oh, you're really saying that? Oh, that's so brave. Like, like, it's so funny, you know. They're kind of, you know, well, they're limited in their progressiveness, so they need some push. So that's why I feel I'm doing a useful job here.
Yeah, well, it's like there's like this kind of realm of acceptability in terms of what, you know, what political ideas or opinions are acceptable for a person to have, or what's not acceptable. And it's always good to see people challenging that and pushing those boundaries. It's extremely necessary. So why don't we switch gears a little bit and talk about the EU level of things. So let's say in a couple weeks. I guess it's more like a week and a half now until the EU elections. But let's say you get elected as an MEP. What are you looking forward to the most in that job?
Right. So, I mean, in general, I think EU is great. So some people hate it and so on, but I think it's great because it's a leader in peace. We've had peace here in Europe for such a long time. It's a global leader in human rights, democracy, environmental protection, a lot of good things. So, I mean, I think it's a powerful force for good. It's like the best superpower. It could be the best superpower in the world to promote these things. I mean, it's not kind of a superpower really because it's not coherent enough if you compare the US and China and Russia, but still doing a lot of good things. So I mean, it's a lot of power to promote these topics, get them further. And basically, my campaign is about three basic things: is the basic income, less corporate subsidized resources from administration to citizen services for citizens. So that's like the economic part. So I want universal basic income. I think that's pretty popular in the pirate parties around the world in general. Yeah, absolutely. So, also in national politics and EU politics, there's a lot of subsidized to corporations. And I think they should be basically removed and replaced with lower taxation, which is equal to all. Because now it's the large companies who get the subsidized, the small companies don't. And yeah, I mean, it's like a form of corruption. And then very important is the solving the climate change. So I've been heavily promoting here nuclear power with serially produced small and modular reactors. So I got this accepted in the Helsinki city climate strategy, which was totally like against nuclear power before I joined in. And I want to do this in Europe. And I have a very popular blog post at the moment of how Finland can make a full fuel cycle by taking uranium from the bedrock and using serially produced small and modular reactors to generate very low emission electricity for Germany to turn off all of their coal power. I don't know if you know, but Germany is like burning huge amounts of coal. It's like a total failure in climate change because they are supposed to reduce their emissions and they haven't. They spend hundreds of billions and they haven't reduced. They just invest in renewable energy and they build more coal. So, I mean, we really have a chance here of doing a huge thing of actually turning off all of Germany's coal power. And I don't know, nuclear power is maybe not a huge thing in the pirate party politics, but I'm sure if I can go to Germany and explain this to the people there, I can get them converted. I've already done it with a few of them. And then there's this open government. So we've been doing something with that here. So I have a city council group in the Helsinki City Council, and we started like doing 360 live streaming of all of our council group meetings, and no other council group ever made their meetings open. so we're leading in that, and then I made an initiative to do the same for the city board and the city sub boards, which do all the most important decisions. So that's something I want to do in the EU, because I understand the EU administration is really it's very little transparency there. My friend was trying to find out which directives are going to be next in the Euro Parliament, and it's just like impossible to find out. She was even calling, Brussels and trying to get this information. It's not transparent at all. So maybe you have some transparency for the Parliament, but then all the other councils of EU, not so much. And then I want to promote the equal opportunities for the different groups of people, especially the most disadvantaged groups of people.
So I have a question for you.
And then, hey, I have a defense policy also. Pirate Party is not much about defense, but we're Finland. We have a 1,300 kilometers of border with Russia. Defense is a big issue for Finland. We're not a member of NATO. So I'm promoting common EU defense policy. So EU should have a joint army, basically, joint defense forces, instead of like some of the countries being in NATO and some not. And, it's a big mess at the moment. Yeah, so those things.
But do you also, as a Finnish pirate party or a US person, have an opinion on NATO? Should something change there, or?
Yeah, I mean, if you ask me, Finland should absolutely join NATO, as soon as we can. or as soon as they accept us. But that's not our pirate party policy. So in our party, it's divided. And actually, it's a minority of Finnish population who supports us joining NATO, and majority doesn't.
Okay.
And I don't know the percentages, but definitely our party is divided. So some of our party members are for, some are against. Okay. So we don't have any official policy in the party for NATO.
Okay, now we talked to some of the countries running for with pirates for the European elections. And the worry that some of them share is a rise of right-wing populism in their country. So is that a concern in Finland, or how does it work for you guys?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So this right-wing populist party, they were the second biggest, and they were like 0.2% away from being the biggest party in last month's election. And our party doesn't like these anti-immigration policies when they are basically reflecting lack of understanding in human dignity. The universal value of human life, when it's not really apparent so in these policies. So yeah, we're completely against that, because we're very much for human rights, value of human life, and so on. And we want a sensible policy for immigration. And it's not like, yeah, let's take everybody in or let's take nobody in, but we want the sensible, practical solutions. And like, for example, processing I want that the asylum applications are processed very close to the country of departure, where the people are refugees are coming from. So it could be centrally done, and people safely taken to European countries instead of in the back of the van suffocating and all of that stuff. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, definitely this anti-immigration populism is a big issue here.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for that. Do you have anything else that you want people to know about you or about the Finnish Pirate Party or EU election stuff? Anything?
Anything else? Can you trust it some area maybe?
Well, maybe something comes to mind, but could you explain, this is a trick question, but could you explain on what position on the list you are? I know the answer.
Right, yeah. So, I mean, unlike many other European countries, we don't have an ordered list. So the system is that the party selects candidates, and then they each have their own number, and the voters put the number in, and then the one who gets most votes from the list, they get the number of votes for the whole party or the coalition if there's several parties joining. And then the second best, the one who got second most votes, then they get half, and the third gets 1/3, and so on. And then you put these numbers from the whole country, and you see who gets in, who is the top 13 candidates in case of Finland. So we get 13 MEPs.
All right, thanks for that. Sounds like a system that could work.
I mean, it's nicer because the voters decide who's number one. Yeah. It's not some party committee,
Exactly. All right, thanks for that.
That's good. So is there any last words, any final statements before we wrap up the interview?
Well, I mean, it's a wonderful interview, and I'm really enthusiastic about how pirate parties in Europe can, promote democracy, rights of people who are not doing well, and communality of us being together. And like, there's so many parties who are trying to divide us, oh, that's right wing, that's left wing, oh, those people want immigrants. So really, I want to work together to understand everyone's point of view, and then you make solutions which takes into account all the good ideas people in the different parties might have, putting them together instead of just blaming and criticizing and trying to be the best and putting others down. So I think we have a great future together.
Thank you so much,
Definitely.
Petrus.
Cheers.
Thank you so much, Petrus. Best of luck to all of you. And once again, great job with the campaign in Finland. And, good on you for not only, you had that and then a month later, EU elections. That must be really exhausting, but,
yeah,
really awesome to see you guys doing that. So yeah, once again, thank you so much for talking to us today.
Hey, thank you. Yeah, and we only get last EU election, we get only 10% of 18 to 25-year-olds in Finland voting in the EU election. So I think our biggest thing is now trying to activate the people who haven't voted before.
All right. Good luck with that. Bye-bye.
Yeah, thanks. Cheers.